slow, the bow journey. This is I'm sharing because that is the reason. I was only 13 years old and I used to do watercolor painting and I wanted to be an artist. I had no idea of architecture and this was received in 1976 Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Gold Medal for, there is Sankarsh International Children's Competition, very famous, and there's the highest honor is the Nehru Gold Medal. And I thought, I'm gonna be an artist, no doubt about it. But today I'm here as an architect, I'm here by chance, but still I feel by conviction I'm an artist. So, boat is my life, my way of life. Bangladesh is all about water and boat is related. So let's go through a boat journey. And in one stage, you see, I have designed architecture which is having boat inside. And this is very poetic probably, To me, architecture is something very poetic, very artistic. As if I'm not doing architecture, I'm doing like watercolor painting or something like that. And all about my growing up in Bangladesh with water and light and shade, shadow and penumbra and patch green. Lalong is like Rabindranath Tagore, one of the most famous poet from India and in Bangladesh altogether. He was inspired by this fakir called Lalon Fakir, and he was inspired his whole life, Rabindranath Tagore. And he says, one thing, if not inside the body, then it's not outside the body either. So whatever you have inside the body is of course outside the body. It's not there, here, it's not anywhere in the outside. And he thinks human being is a composition of two things. One is thoughts, the thinking, and the body, shell and soul. The soul coming into your body and going out of it. That's a negotiation happening every time with you and your mind and body. And when you capture the good thoughts in your body, mostly becomes good human being. He calls Admi. So why I'm talking this thing? Because architecture is almost similar. Architecture is like we create a sort of envelope, the shell, and the whole Mother Nature, like your thoughts, the soul of your architecture is coming into your body and going out of it. The rain comes and goes out of it, the fragrance comes, and the air comes into it and goes out of it through your architecture. This is how the negotiation is going on, and you need to know how to scientifically organize these things, because sun is not probably in our country not coming to the northern side. It's mostly on the southern side. The southern India, northern India is different than South India. So sun movement, wind movement, fragrance of movement of the fragrance, all different, and you have to calculate how it's coming into your body, your architecture and going out of it. And a slit of light in the morning, and then it travels, it becomes full and entering into your body, and then evening it goes out of you, goes out of architecture. Like Jalaluddin Rumi, 12th century philosopher, says, the light actually, enlighten you, when it goes back, it takes nothing from you. You see, now I can see some light touching you. When it's going back, it will be not taking anything from you, but it only enlightening you. So we can be like that, we can enlighten other people, the world, and going back, taking nothing back from anyone, anything. I think it's early my practice, 90s, early 90s, I had an exhibition in New York, and I called it architecture with additional T, over there, because I was feeling like I'm not an architect. I don't want to be an architect, and I am to paint. So this architecture, the courtyard of a gallery building, it looks like I'm taking a full brush of color from the sun and putting on the canvas of shadow, like a stroke of brushes, and creating architecture by watercolor. So that's sort of emotional, nostalgic, foolish probably, and things are happening early stage of my life. But the way I started learning is very important. Architecture is also like watercolor. The watercolor is something very transparent. One layer of colors, and the layer of colors, and layer of colors. You can see almost all the layers of colors, and finally you can see the land, the paper you are working with. That's like a land. You can see. So if you don't see the land through your architecture, that doesn't belong to that for that community or that country. So something like that. So I started learning what is Bangladesh, and you see, Bangladesh is a very beautifully fragile and vulnerable and beautiful country, like evening. It's very subtle, neither day nor night. It's in between, and very fragile, very poetic, very sensitive, very vulnerable. And look at Bangladesh, half of the country is absolutely out of tropics. And the lower part is absolutely 50% is tropical. So it's in between. That's why Bangladesh is having 6 seasons. Probably nobody else in the world is having 6 seasons. We have monsoon, extraordinary, and we have post-monsoon seasons. And that's why you'll be listening that Bangladesh is a lot of toils happening, flood happening, storm coming, and people think CNN, BBC, they think about Bangladesh is a very country of toil. But I say Bangladesh is a country of poetry. I'll prove it to you now. And the lot of rain coming from South India, from Kovalam beach, the first drop, starts, and then 2,000, 3,000 millimeter of rains, and going through Bangladesh diagonally, top, it's like a music, 2,000 to 3,000 and 4,000 to 5,000 millimeter rain, and then finally Cherrapunji 12,000 millimeter rain. Can you imagine, like a musical story is going on and ends up in Cherrapunji? And simultaneously, the Himalayas coming down water through Bangladesh, almost 50 major river channels taking water and going through very intricate pattern through Bangladesh to the Bay of Bengal. And it ends up a Bay of Bengal. All the Himalayan water, this side, ends up in Bay of Bengal. And Bangladesh belongs to Bay of Bengal, or Bay of Bengal belongs to Bangladesh, interestingly. And that's why, almost Bangladesh is 150,000 square kilometer land area, but receiving more than 2 million square kilometer of areas water from 3 basins. Unbelievable, So probably we can't say Bangladesh is a land, sort of typical. Its water is the land. It's a swampy water, and not water, sort of swampy land is the land. And maybe I'm here, I'm a fish, I'm not a human being probably. I'm a fish here in the dry stage of Delhi. So it's very contrast. Let's see how can I survive, how long I can survive. And you see, when the water comes, the monsoon comes, it inundates 2/3 of the country's land, depicting water as a major element of landscape. But water recedes after a few months, 2 months, water recedes, it leaves behind a fertile alluvial soil, and the entire landscape transformed into large patches of green field. And then wind comes and moving with the winds, And that's why I'm supposed to do watercolor painting. So isn't Bangladesh is a very poetic country? People don't know Bangladesh, And that's why I do architecture by watercolor, basically. This is one of our small projects. And I really love, the silence of water and the movement, the sound of water. And I also like the music of light. And I love to see the cascading, untamed green entering into your house along with the inclined sunlight of the winter. And I really love the cultivated garden inspired by the garden by the farmer of my country. I really love to see the light penetrating through the greeneries into deep of my architecture and stretching and stretching and stretching its last light to twilight. After the dark night, crossing the winter morning, when the first light touches the land and water, it turns into watercolor again. And we need to know how to translate this philosophical, poetical, nostalgic emotion into architecture. We love to do drawings, architects. And that Bangladesh, the patch of green and water, turns into a tropical architecture, which is untamed, patch of water. And Ghatla, they steps into the water. Large trees, like 10-meter or 15-meter tall trees, on the sky. How to put those things. That we need to have knowledge. The power of architects is the knowledge. How the wind moves, how the sun moves, how the structural system works, how to stop the damp into the house when you put a lot of earth on top of the air. All the things need to be sorted out and it becomes poetry. You can't say, I'm sorry, I don't know what is structure. You have to solve all the issues to make it a simple, beautiful poetry of painting. So to me, everything is garden actually. I mean, in the paradise, nobody talks about what material will be used in paradise. Who will be going to paradise, all thinking about what size of the garden would be there, what type of garden would be there. Trees and orchards and fruits and birds will be there. So the school, we thought, why not a school is a garden where children might be flowers, children might be birds chirping like, giggling and chirping like birds, So let's make the whole school as a garden. And the garden we inspired by many thousand years of old. We have thousands of archaeological sites, means those are all universities basically. Most of those archaeological sites, Buddhist monasteries, schools. So when we started designing, first thing we need to connect our educational history so students can learn didactically that we are an enlightened nation. We are an enlightened nation. So people can't say us, oh, you are a poor nation, you are not educated. So that's the energy putting into the students to make them really, really proud and powerful. So the school design is almost like a Buddhist monastery. It's all around the rooms, the schools, the small courtyards and the gardens. And this is the school with the brickwork, which is the Bengal civilization is all about the beautiful brickworks. And now you can hear the giggling of the children like birds. And the trees you can see, these are all, these trees specially planted. That's called Butia menasperma or flame of the forest. Probably you might know palash tree, red flowers. And that's a local name, dhak tree. The name of Dhaka came from this tree. So the first entrance of the school, lot of dhak. Now it's working. So a lot of dhak trees we planted to establish the name of Dhaka, and the children may know that why the Dhaka name and where from it actually came. This is Aga Khan Academy, newly built school in Dhaka. This is the full view, it's supposed to be completed very soon. We are working on this. And this is the amphitheater. The school garden, the library. And once we thought, why not, why the only ground floor is having greeneries? Why not we call it every floor is ground floor? Wherever you go, every floor is ground floor. That means I can put you 100-story tall building, but I told my client, I told my client that I don't want to go alone over there. I want all my belongings. I want my green, I want water, trees, birds, and everything, the earth. Give it to me, everything together. I'll go for the sky. I don't mind to go there. But don't send me alone. I'll die simply. So this is the level 3. You can see the patch green, cultivated green, and the water. And the level 4, which is like a tropical rainforest. Then I started moving out from my own country to other countries, like Bhutan. It's such a beautiful country, only country in the world producing oxygen more than carbon. The whole country, unbelievably, they are producing more oxygen than carbon. And all the water from Himalayas, the country of Himalaya, the Bhutan, Himalaya belongs to Bhutan basically, Nobody can claim like Bhutan, that Himalayas. All the water through India or any other ways is actually going through Bangladesh, ends up in Bay of Bengal. So the starting point Himalayas and ends point Bangladesh. But never Bay of Bengal water has seen the creator Himalayas. So the whole idea of this Chancery building, the embassy building we created, we put the beautiful courtyard of water, which is very connected to the Himalayas and reflection Himalayas. It looks like the water in the feet of Himalayas. So it's a connection. And Buddhism actually is a gift to the Bhutan from Bangladesh. People, I don't know how much you know about it. The whole religion is flourished from Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a hub of Buddhist enlightenment. It flourished Australia to Canada, everywhere. It's from Bangladesh. And this is Ashish Dipankar, who is the main person. So that's why Bhutan is very happy. And then we studied everything like how sun moves, the temperature. Only 17-degree temperature in summer. Such a beautiful temperature. But the problem in the winter, it goes down to 1 degree Celsius. We need to tackle that winter. We don't want to spend more money in heating the building. So we designed the whole building opening to the southern side to taking more light inside deep, inclined sun. So we reduce the use of energy. And we are using here greenhouse effect rather to improve the inside heating system. This is what Chancery building, the green part of Himalayas and Thimphu River taking all the rain waters. It's a courtyard with the water. And this is the building. We are following, we're actually respecting Bhutan's architectural language. We could build differently. Only embassy has the right to build, but we didn't do so. We wanted to make it like Bhutanese style. So we tried to understand those things. And we created a large social window over there to look from the distance. The passerby, they can see the Himalayas. So this is our father of the nation. And this is what is happening. This is now ongoing projects, it's happening there. And then we moved to Pakistan, Islamabad. We found that's very challenging because Bhutan was our friend. They are the first country who recognized Bangladesh 6 hours before India even. So they're so prompt, as a friend. But Pakistan was not our friend. We were fighting with Pakistan. They're so enemies sort of. But when the government says that we want to extend our hand to build an embassy in Islamabad, that doesn't mean we're showing our enmity to them. Rather, we are now showing our friendship to them. So diplomatically, we need to resolve the issue. I can't say Pakistan is my friend, unfortunately. I can't say. Emotionally, I'm very much disturbed. But when I went there, that I was looking for how to ensure these two nations is becoming friends, sort of. I can't say diplomatically that no, we are not friends. No, the job given to me as an architect. So I went to Mohenjo-daro. It's a very difficult place to go nowadays. But I went there to see because we have similar, Indus Valley civilization, we have similar Buddhist monasteries, which is almost very close to, brickworks and archaeological sites, very similar, 3,000 years old and 5,000 years old. So finally we got the solution diplomatically that we can create archaeological landscape and can say this is a meeting ground. Our land is a meeting ground of two great civilizations into an archaeological landscape. So this is what in Karachi office we are starting. The huge Margala hill, which is almost 7,000 feet tall. And this is what we develop, a courtyard, brickwork, like historical brickwork. But there is a top roof, super roof, which is like 500 feet long, covering everything to reduce the 52 degrees Celsius in summer. And taking with the punctures, almost they have 50 inches of rain, which is quite a huge amount of rain. And this is what archaeological landscape developed. That's also almost completed now. Next year we'll be able to see the photographs. And then when moved to Malaysia, a very, very tropical country, the temperature is always like 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. And sun moves southern side half of the year and northern side half of the year, so both the sides. So we need also parasol to cover up the climatic condition, and the whole side we created water body, shallow water body, collecting a huge amount of rainwater because they have everyday rain almost, like Singapore. So this water body is it's very shallow, less than 1 feet, and it's able to fight the fire issues and cool down the environment, and physically and mentally both. And inside courtyard, which is at the top floor, and this is what it looks like, but it's very shallow, like less than 10 inches around, to 50 millimeter deep water body. After traveling here and there, working other parts of the world, we are also working other countries also. Then I realized that in early 60s we started learning, early ages of mine, the movement came up like globalization. And globalization actually made few of the countries very, very glittering. But actually they told us they have going to globalize what? Love, respect, trust, and economic, parity, no disparity sort of. But end of the day they globalize war actually, nothing else. Armaments and disrespect and distrust, and they globalize death of humanity basically. So the last stage of my lecture actually, at this stage, I thought I should go back home because I born and brought up in old Dhaka, like old Delhi we have old Dhaka. So I went back home. I thought I should do for my own community. And I found that all the small beautiful greeneries, patch greens and gardens and lovely places we used to play and gather together is all lost. So the question, where have all the gardens gone? Look at the situation of old Dhaka. It's impoverished. But luckily, the government, the local government, municipality has taken 31 parks and playground needs to be improved, revitalized. So I was engaged for that. And that was very challenging for us. The first project we did, there is a mosque inspired by the Mughal mosque over there. And we created this mosque. Actually, the roadside is a terrestrial, very noisy, earthly, and you go to the other side is the graveyard, which is very silent, no noise, absolutely quiet. So this terrace, this plaza is a public plaza, open space, which is connecting both terrestrial and celestial, silent and noise together. And this is how we created the puncture courtyard connecting the both the sides, the earthly and celestial. And you see, this is very quiet, the other side. But you see the other side, opposite, is very heavily built. So it's a very contrast situation in between. And the mosque is actually connecting emotional thing, you know. You can be anytime the other side, the silent side. And the contractor very, you know, the politically is very difficult situation over there. I think many parts of the world, including South Asia, is similar. Our father of the nation looks very smallest photograph. Our contractor photograph is the highest, biggest one. So he is the big boss over there. You can't handle this. It's very difficult to handle this guy. I think he's a political power, political man, becomes contractor. So what to do? Anyway, we finally managed him many ways. We have very tricky ways to do work with them. And finally we built it up and some sections and the brickworks and the courtyard in the beginning and the women's play, namaz area. And then the inside, you know, the light is coming from top, the glass floor. And then we move to actually the last part of my lecture. We need to revitalize couple of degraded, illegally occupied, you know, spaces. It's supposed to be garden or supposed to be a playfield or park or something, or illegally occupied by truck stand or car stand or, you know, drug selling point, what not, everything. So one example, this we got initially in 2016, we converted by 2018, this one. And one story that I'm going to share with you, that's a garden for communal harmony and peace. This Delwar Hussain area, we found one field supposed to be improved as per government policy, but we found that area belongs to Hindu community mostly because there was the edge of the city and the river is there and their crematorium, open to sky crematorium is there. So nobody is going there, which is fine. They are staying nearby. But nowadays population increased so much, so all the area covered by the Muslims and Hindus together. But I mean, Muslims definitely don't feel very good about in front of their eyes the body is burning and lot of carbon emission is happening and the pollution is happening, you know, all the things are happening. So it was no use of improving the field. Basically the field I can share with you. This field on top, you can see the improvement of the field was not going to solve the problem in between two communities, is in discomfort basically. So we suggested government that we need to build a crematorium which is holding machine inside and cremation will be done properly, no pollution, and there is a tomb mazar for a saint that should be improved, library and all the other public toilets and gymnasium, coffee shop, everything should be developed in a way and the field will be improved. There is a pond actually, which is a dumping ground, that needs to be improved so Hindu community can do their rituals, you know, before and after the cremation. All things can happen, but government says this idea, fantastic idea, Mr. Architect, but we don't have money. We have only money for improve the field. So we worked 1.5 years and I went to the minister finally, our prime minister, and finally we got the fund some extent and then we started implementing the project. So you can see we have started dialogue because it's important to create dialogue among the community, Hindu and Muslim all over. And then we started sketching. And you see this is the pond, dumping ground, absolutely covered by the illegal shops and other rickshaws. All challenge, political challenge. And finally we end up with this one. And very recently, we filled it up with rainwater. We have heavy rain. The city flooded, but we are happy. we were requiring more water, and finally we got the water. And this is what the pond, the field, and probably in between narrow strip is the mazar and crematorium, and they have a graveyard also, Hindu graveyard, all the things in between. And this is what we developed finally. And this was earlier the pond, and now converted this public realm, recreation space, and this is how the children are now enjoying their life with water and surroundings. And you can see the crematorium built. It's already people gathering, Hindu community. And this is from the street view. And you see there's a mosque minaret also there. So the community now is in harmony. They're really staying happily. So architecture can resolve problems of social problem also. So this is the field, how dangerous you see for the children, this one. This is converted this to. And this is the field and pond and crematorium. And the tomb is also still going on a little bit, last moment work. And the last project was really challenging. And literally I tell you, it's not that easy. Architecture is not that easy. First thing, client is not going to pay you properly. That's the challenging thing. Be sure of it. And then your project is, not happen properly. Somebody is there to destroy your project. Your ideas should be dismantled. So Rasul Bagh is a park where literally I tried, I was feeling like helpless. Everybody was saying, no, sorry, we can't help you. There's nothing to help. It's a so difficult situation. So I say this is a life-saving project. The park only be approached by this way, the narrow alley. There's no other way. You can't take your car, you can't take your vehicle, nothing. So you have to walk through this water, dirty water in monsoon, or in summer with these unhealthy, walkways. And then we went to the park and we found that we can't see the park because the park is covered by boundary wall to protect the green, but none of the green was protected properly in our city. All this idea protected the antisocial activities and elements, illegal things and vagrants actually it protected, not the green. It failed completely. So the wall is a very difficult thing. We say we must dismantle all the walls of the green, the whole city. It was challenging for us. The political leaders was very angry with me. That is not possible to dismantle all the walls, But finally we did. And you see, wall is encouraging all illegal shops, simply. It's automatic. Half of the shops done. And then only one drain taking all the waters, which is impossible to carry the huge amount of rainwater, and 19 houses sewage system taking this thing, and one shower is turned into a dirty, water stagnant, and live sewer moving around. And as an architect, what can I do? Is it my job to remove the sewage system and all the water logging of the city? It was very challenging and frustrating, in fact. But anyway, we didn't. Rain is a pain, water is disaster, whereas water should be the most beautiful element for our life, life-saving material. And the house, small house for the animals treatment, but no human body's treatment is going on, but no animals is there, but the house is occupied illegally by the political party's office. Their office, simply. So you can't move them out. Impossible. And this is what we call Shishu Park, Children's Park. Would you like to go there? Who is want to go there? This is our park. But we started the participatory process of engaging people and their ideas, our ideas together. And finally, all the other people, adult people, senior citizens, all together in the same place. And finally, we presented the project in front of the same park, the same building. And finally, the day they were fighting also, the same day, the presentation was completed and they started fighting between two groups. But anyways, life is so. But The idea is simple. Four things we established. One is all the water should be properly navigated. We convert it into drinking water, the rainwater, the dirty water separated, that should be separately treated and gone through channel, narrow channel, slowly, because we don't have a real good channel. So one thing, and next thing, it should be completely wall free. Allow people to tell people it's yours. It's not belongs to city corporation. It's yours. It's open. Anytime you can come. 3 o'clock in the morning, you can come and cry here. Sit down and cry. Nobody's going to tell you it's not yours. There's no tala, no chabi, no locks and keys and things like that. Number two. Number three, there should be a small building or something to have coffee shop or gymnasium or library. So anyone who is not playing football or something, or they can come and sit and study, have a cup of coffee and watching the green, their eyes. So that's the supervision sort of thing. And last not but least is it should be green. You open your eyes, you see there's not a single grass. So frustrating, If you open your eyes, you see green. It feels like your dream of garden and the reality is very close. So let's do this thing. And this you see the walkway, since it's very small plot, only half an acre land. Half an acre land belongs to 80,000 people per square kilometer. I don't see in the world you can see. Probably in England, 25 people per square kilometer. In dense part of India, probably 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. But 80,000 people per square meter is mad, actually. But these people are coming here. The children will be coming here. So I don't have space to open up a pond or a lake sort of thing. I have only the walkways around, and below walkway there's a trench to collect 100,000 liters of water. And then you see the trench, it can collect the water and separating the roadside water, dirty water, so it cannot mix up. So you can filter the water for drinking purpose. And now started cutting the trench, and this is the trench initially. And since we can't take material inside, like very narrow alleys, you can't take whatever you feel like inside. So we develop only slabs, which is 6 feet by 1.5 feet, and 1100 around slabs to resolve all the problems, sort out all the problems except few benches by bricks. That's all. So you can see finally we are dismantling the wall. We call it dismantling the disrespect and distrust. Everything we start nowadays based on distrust, disrespect and distrust. Every design, not you, not me, all over the world. End of the day, the cameras and the security system must be implemented in architecture. So it's really funny. We have gone the wrong way. And finally, after dismantling this thing, it turns into this. No water issue, no wall issue. And this is after the rain. It's really beautiful, And even when it's raining, so rain is no more a pain. It was rain is a pain, it's now celebration. As more rain coming, they're very happy, the more drinking water coming, in fact. And this was old photograph, nobody's coming, even children don't want to come here. And the situation is so improvised and dangerous, but same thing transformed into same area like this. So we call it abandoned area turned into abundance. And who did that? By the children, local children. They have planted all the trees, fruit trees, orchard, very chicos and very humble, not jackfruit. So the political people coming and fighting to grab it, a large big. It's all like tiny, like star fruits or Burmese apple. One tree, 1,000, 2,000 Burmese apple happens. Star fruit, hundreds of fruits comes, like this. Chicos, very nice. So you can have free of cost vitamin C, vitamin B, and you don't have to buy from the, from the wrong one, from the street, There's a pesticide or something happen over there. So good for them. And birds are coming. A lot of birds are coming. So children are running after butterflies. No more drugs. The philosophy was like that. Children will run after butterfly, not drugs. And we see the The adolescent girls in our society, particularly South Asia, they don't exist. We don't see them outside, they're playing, they're roaming around alone, very fearful. So now we see that adolescent girls are coming out and playing themselves happily. And it turns into a garden where the children are colorful flowers. And from the distance, you can see all around house, they improve the economic condition because they're renting out their house little bit more budget now, so they are getting more money out of it. So they have become little bit of enriched financially. And top view, still you see this area is very impoverished. They are not the poor people in fact. But now they're having a beautiful heart and lungs for them. And the mosque, we didn't have budget, but we covered the mosque with a nice screen, the backside, and we provided them a Jummah prayer space in front. And the whole field is the prayer space for Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr. And the old building, finally, we had a long negotiation with political party people, and finally they agreed after seeing our all activities. They are very merciful to us and says, okay, we are moving out. And they gone and we converted this building into library, the women's club, gymnasium, and a coffee shop on top and solar panel on top. And now the children are coming and enlightening themselves, which is amazing to see. Of course, the adults are coming, youngs are coming, and the women are coming for their club. And the park is now looks like this, but this is not that easy still. 50% work's done. Next 51% works is still going on. That is maintenance. In our government, I don't know your government, it's like maintenance. What's the terminology? They don't know. There's no word exists in the world like maintenance. So this is very challenging for us. Outside is still very difficult. Inside you can see green, but we need to employ people, which is the local people. They have now job. The idea was to create job opportunity through this architecture. This is happening, but our office is paying for this temporarily for the last 5 years, temporarily for 5 years. Hopefully next year we will not be able to give, government will come up. I'm hoping. And now the drinking water, this is the most popular thing over there, is happening for last 5 years. And the whole purpose of doing architecture is actually ensuring our children, they're growing up safely and happily. Everything you do, what's the purpose? It's only one purpose. Our children will grow happily and safely. And now we can call it Old Dhaka New to our life and Old Dhaka a new story. And last 3 minutes video. I think I have a 3-minute video that's made for United Nations because this is one of the best 21 projects of the world. I don't know, this is, can you just, that's the end of my lecture.
এক সময় এই জায়গার অবস্থাটা খুবই খারাপ ছিল। এখানে গাড্ডা হইতো, বৃষ্টি হলে পানি জমে থাকতো, এর মধ্যে ময়লার ড্রেনে ময়লা ভাসতো, মানুষ কোনোভাবেই এখানে আসতে পারতো না। এলাকার স্থানীয় যারা বসবাস করে তারাও এখানে আসতে ভয় পাইতো, কারণ বিভিন্ন ধরনের ক্রাইম হইতো। আজকে আমরা মহিলারা মেয়েরা এখানে আসতে পারতেছি, ইজিলি লাইব্রেরি আছে বসতে পারতেছি, সে করলে আসতে পারতেছি, বসতে পারতেছি, রাতে আসতে পারি আমরা,
যেটা জীবাণু মুক্ত দূষণ মুক্ত পানি গাড়ি হয়তো হয়েছে এবং লোকও মারা গেছে এই মাঠে। আগে থেকে অনেক সুন্দর, অনেক লোকজন আসা যাওয়া করে, বসে নামাজ টামাজ করে বসে দেখার মতো। হ্যাঁ, আগে তো আমাদের এরকম ছিল না। হ্যাঁ, এখন ছেলেমেয়েরা একটা মাঠ থেকে একটু বড় জন্য খেলে, ছোট জন্য খেলে। আমরা বিকেলবেলা এসে একটু ঘুরতে পারি, বসতে পারি, কোনো ঝগড়া নেই, লড়াই নেই। আমরা সবাই মিলে মিশে একসঙ্গে চলাফেরা করি। আর একটু অনেক উন্নত হয়েছে, অনেক অনেক।
স্কুলটা এসে সারাদিন বাসায় বসে থাকতাম, হকার মাঠটা অনেক সুন্দর করার পর আমরা খেলতে পারি।
Thank you very much.